Hello everybody, it's Dr. Drake 63 here, continuing on with my series with the Remington 700 ADL. And today we're going to talk about putting a homemade rattle can camo job on this. Why do I want to do that? Why do I want to take a perfectly good black rifle and paint it up? Well, real simple. This is a field gun. Use it for deer hunting. And I like to get rid of the black gun effect and get something that's a little bit more natural terrain. And in order to do that, I've had good luck in the past with other hunting rifles with the rattle can job. And today we're going to use this Rust-Oleum combination made for both plastic as well as steel. So not only will it help your gun prevent rusting, but also this stuff tends to wear pretty good, holds up pretty good. Not sure how in-depth I'm going to go with the camouflage job, but this stuff right here is going to be my base coat. We're gonna go ahead and make this a kind of a desert tan kind of color to begin with. Some supplies that we're going to need besides the paint. I've got paint thinner here. You can use denatured alcohol or any number of things. The purpose of which is we want to make sure that we get all oils and everything that's going to keep the paint from adhering to your materials. We want to get that off. We've got frog tape, and this is used obviously for masking. We're going to do things like take this bolt off, and we're going to want to make sure we don't get paint inside the chamber. We don't want to get paint inside on the glass of the scope. We don't want to get paint inside the barrel or on the trigger. So we're gonna show you how we mask that using the frog tape. I've also had some good success using frog tape in terms of coming up with various camo shapes. Not sure what we're gonna do with this one, but whatever we're going to do, we'll do it together. We're going to start off by using the denatured alcohol, this paint thinner right here. This is non-flammable stuff. And we're going to go ahead and give this rifle a good rub down. The area where I hunt is in north central Montana. And as you can see, it's a lot of light colored browns with a mixture of some darker color browns. But the theme obviously is brown, and what I'm looking for is a camouflage job that has got a little bit of blend in and obviously break up the actual silhouette of the rifle. As mentioned, we're going to use this paint thinner. It's going to act as a degreaser for us. And you can see there's quite a bit on there. Friendly word of caution, this stuff is going to get down. If you have this type of grip like the 700 ADL comes, this is going to get down into this little groove here. So I'm needing to use combination of a paper towel and something like this to kind of get down and make sure we get that up. Also going to want to be careful when we're spray painting this that we're going light coats and not heavy, because this is where paint's gonna go into that channel there and then drip or smear, which we'd like to avoid. In addition, on top of the scope here, there's a little decal, which kind of showed you in terms of your eyepiece here, focus, which way you needed to do. I've never looked at something like this. I just adjust the eye focus piece and go from there. So I'm not going to miss that. But if you leave that on there, that's probably going to peel off after you paint it. That's not a desired effect. But looking at this buttstock here, you know, you're basically drying this stuff out is what you're doing. Any of the oils and things from the factory that might have been on this firearm are going to be coming off. The main thing you want to do from a masking perspective, and here you can see the frog tape that I mentioned earlier I really like, you want to make sure anywhere where you don't want paint to go, you've got it masked off really well. That's going to include your butt pad, that's going to include your trigger well, that's going to include where the glass is on your scope if you're going to paint a scope. Obviously you want your chamber to be protected. Here I'm just using my finger to kind of make a nice clean line where the bolt handle goes. So using a little bit of Yankee ingenuity, we used a coat hanger and incorporated the rear sling mount. And we're going to hang this here and start giving it the once over with the spray paint. Now, one thing I just want to caution you with, I don't want to assume you don't know how to spray paint, but you want to go even coats, you want to go light coats, and it'll dry quick, and you can always give it more that way. So we're going to start in. So as you can see, there's some spots where there isn't super good coverage, but what I don't have is paint buildup down in these grooves, which I wanted to avoid. You can see that there's some areas at the bottom of the scope, so forth and so on, where definitely need some more paint. But what I'd rather do is let this dry and come back in a couple hours. It is a real dry, kind of low humid day in Minneapolis. Come back in a couple hours and hit it with another coat, as opposed to having drips and other things which are going to be regrettable later. But it's a nice start. Well, heck, it's so well camouflaged already you can't see it, right? I don't know about that, but this is after a couple coats. Drying really fast today, super fast. There's like no humidity in the air. But I really like the way that this desert tan is covering. And really all I'm going to do, after a little bit more dry time, is give this some brown highlights. You know, I really like the prevalence of the tan. Now, I did experiment a little bit with some green there, and over here experimented with a little bit of brown, and that was using this. If you ask me, this turns out looking a little bit too much like a safari gun. And you know, I'm not going to start over, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to add another color, put a little bit of a grid texture on it, and see how she turns out. Now, I have to be honest, this wasn't exactly what I was looking for when I set out to do this project. But here's the good news. I'm going to bang this thing around. It's going to ride around in a truck. And what I'm most interested in is that this continues to shoot straight, which it will. So I have done better camo jobs. This isn't terrible. It's going to blend in well out in a dry stubble field. And you know, pretty much wherever else I take it. And like I said, if I ever go on safari, I'm in good shape. But all in all, not bad. Let's talk about what we learned today. Number one, there's no such thing as a bad rattle can paint job. Just a rattle can paint job that you don't like or that you don't want to keep going with. Now, this one was looking way too much like the Zoo Safari version of a rifle. With its weird camo, and I've done better jobs on camo before, but you know what? We're accomplishing our purpose. I'm probably going to learn to actually like this. I actually like the addition of the green with that kind of checked pattern. It did slop in a few places. I'm not real happy about that. Kind of see this side by side with Remington 783, an early effort, and they both have their own uniqueness. You can see that a little bit of wear for hunting trips, actually 4 years I've had it, 6 hunting trips. A little bit of wear on this paint, but it works well, the Rust-Oleum. And we've got something that's very unique now for the 700. So we'll see how that holds up. Do some accuracy shooting as soon as the weather is something different than the snow that you see in the background. Anyway, this is DR Drake 63 saying thanks for watching. Can't wait to go hunting, boys.